Chiefs. This is a historic franchise. This is no ordinary job.
Your silver and black home to sound off for over 25 years.
I don't care if I offend somebody. If it isn't right, I'm going to stop practice. We're going to do it the right way.
And now, here's JT the Brick.
Yes, it's a Modelo Friday. Modelo. How we doing, everybody? Friday, JT in Vegas. Brought to you by Modelo. We got some big news. I'm going to let y'all know. We've re-upped with Modelo, and we're excited to be with Modelo. Proud partner of the Raiders and my show here on Raider Nation Radio. So let's all have a bucket of Modelos on this Friday, because you know I have a dripping wet bucket of Modelos on Friday. My wife's working today. She's a teacher, but normally I'll text her around 1 o'clock and say, drop that bucket of Modelos in and pour ice over the Modelos. So when I come home, the Modelos are dripping wet, ice cold. And then I treat myself to a bucket of Modelos because I'm still doing like 30 hours of radio a week. I thought I'd be kind of like tailing out of this. I thought your boy JT would kind of be like cruising off. No, we're doing live streams. We're doing podcasts. We're doing national night shows on Sirius. And we're here mostly for 5 days a week, trying to bring you the access you're going to get for the silver and black in the draft coming up. So I hope everybody has a good weekend. What a weekend here, Clay Baker. I don't even know where to start. Johnny Katz will join us, the entertainment maven here, the guy who is the king of entertainment. Clay and I were just talking. We got WrestleMania, Fish. I looked at some Fish videos, Clay, and it felt like my mind was going to melt. And I'm not a big Fish guy. I'm more of a Dead guy. I'm a Grateful Dead guy. I like a lot of stuff. I've seen Fish on Halloween, which was wild. But, you know, I'm not a guy saying, please, I'm dying to go to Fish. A lot of my friends are. Some of the video coming out of Sphere, what Fish is laying down visually, could define the future of music in this town.
Yeah, I mean, if you can't get a hold of the old blotter acid from the late 60s out in Haight-Ashbury, then you can just go to the Sphere and just enjoy it by yourself. But it's amazing that they keep one-upping each other. Every show at the Sphere keeps going a little further and further, and there's no end to it.
Yeah, and if someone wants to bring their boy JT to a Fish show, I'm available. I'll buy the Modelos, I'll buy the Tito's, I'll buy whatever you need, and I'll tag along. You know, they used to call that I Need a Miracle back in the Dead days. People would walk around a Dead concert with the sign saying, I need a miracle. It'd be like, what are you kidding me? There are no extra tickets. But every once in a while, an extra ticket would pop up. So I'm not looking for a miracle, but I'd like to see Fish over at the Sphere. I'd like to go check that out, just like I'm going to Metallica. And I've seen the Eagles a couple of times and Dead and Company. But, yeah, Fish taking over this town, which is a big deal. WrestleMania is here. I'm not a wrestling guy, but you might be. I learned a long time ago, someone pulled me aside and said, don't ever talk down about wrestling. I said, excuse me? Don't ever do it. Don't ever do it. I said, why? He goes, because they'll hunt you down. They're mean, man, if you don't like their wrestling stuff. And I'm like, no, it's not my thing. It's not my thing. I don't need a ticket. I'm not looking to go. But if you enjoy it, you want to take the kids, you want to go have fun, you want to be. Levi Edwards was in studio yesterday. Couldn't wait to tell me about all the wrestling he's going to see here for the next couple of days. That's great. There's a couple of conventions in town. Pool season is close. You got a couple of pool parties that are opening up here. In Vegas, we're a free country, unlike most places, and you should be watching the show today. You see, you got my Modelo pullover on. Quick story with this Modelo 3/4 zip. I left it on a golf trip in San Diego 2 years ago. And one of my good buddies this past weekend on his boat, I was on his boat and he lifts up this thing. He goes, is this yours? I go, oh my God, that's my Modelo 3/4 zip. Where'd you find it? He goes, you left it here on the boat. We were having cocktails on the boat 2 years ago and I got it back. So I'm feeling good. We're live on YouTube. You should be here now. You shouldn't have to wait for the YouTube stream, man. Get on in. JT the Brick, YT is where you can watch the show, get the alerts. So if you subscribe for free, as soon as we pop up, it's going to get alerted to your phone and you can watch what we're doing here. I feel like, here's another big prop I'm showing everybody. I got my R-Lads. Look at this on screen. I got my Bible for the draft, the R-Lads 45-year anniversary draft guide, as I show everybody here who are looking in. I cannot live without this. Now I am complete. My wife went to the mailbox last night in the hood on the main streets of Summerlin, and it was there as it always is. Want to thank Dan Shanka and the team there. Anybody who's looking to get a draft guide, please get the Ourlads, Ourlads. It's the best one by far. Look at this breakdown. Every player, every position, every round. You give me a name of a player, it's alphabetical. I can go in and there's a full breakdown on the player, which I normally am into this book about a week ago, but I'm going to be into it all weekend as we get ready for the draft next week. So as I tweeted out here over the last couple of days, we have Jesse Merrick coming up today, which I'm excited about. He's really good. He's going to join us. Also, Dan Duva, the voice of the Golden Knights. My Golden Knights are in the playoffs. What did he say? JT said my gold. Yeah, they're my Golden Knights. I live in Vegas long before most people. I've been out here. I live here. That's my hockey team. I cut the cord with the Islanders, the team of my youth, because I don't like having two teams. Yeah, even you Raider fans know, cut the cord with the Giants. I'm with the Raiders, not the Giants. Some of you wise asses like to bring that up from time to time, which is great. I can't erase my youth. I can't go back like the movie Back to the Future and erase my youth. But I'm a Vegas Golden Knight fan, man, and they are peaking at the right time. Speaking of fish, when people want to peak at the right time for a fish show, our Golden Knights, man, are peaking. 7-0-1 with Torts, the new coach. How about that? We could be playing the best hockey in around the world. We had 5 guys in the Olympic gold medal final. We had some tired legs after that, Clay Baker. Why wouldn't they? They're playing hockey in Milan. They had tired legs, jet lag. We weren't really good out of the hockey Olympic break. But, man, could we be peaking any better than we are right now when it comes to hockey in this town?
Yeah, when you get a manager like Tortorella, he's going to push buttons, and he's going to find a way to make you play aggressively and hard as you can right at the right time when they need it the most in March.
Yes, absolutely. So we have Hockey Talk with Dan Duva as we open up the show. So we got a busy one here. I've been really trying to whip the phones, man. I've been really struggling. Not me. I could care less if anybody calls. Let me repeat that. If no one ever calls the rest of my career, I'm good. I've taken more calls than anybody. No one will ever catch me. Mad Dog, Stephen A., none of them will ever catch me. Guys like Colin and McAfee don't take any calls. Zero. How do you have a radio show and you don't take any calls? I've taken all the calls in the world. I like good ones on this show. I don't think people are intimidated to give us a good call. But from time to time, I think people feel like they need to be invited. You're invited every day, 702-365-9200. My rule's just a little bit different. I look for better callers. If you're not good, I will hang up on you. If you're not good, you will not get 3-4 minutes. You won't. Other shows you might. You might get 5 minutes to talk on another show you won't hear. But if you sound off like you got a pair and you fly in here with passion and energy, you can become a rock star. People start buying you chicken wings like they used to with me. Walk into a bar, people buy you chicken wings and beers because you're a caller. It's pretty cool. And I'd like you to call in if you have something that could add to the show. This is a pretty important week because of the draft. And I think what we lost out a little bit on this topic was I think a lot of our listeners and our fans are confused after Mendoza. And that's why every day I tweeted today, we've had 12 draft insiders in our last 10 shows. Let me get to the tweet here. Here it is. So in the last 12 shows, we had 10 insiders on. Okay. And I said, all commented on Mendoza. 12 of 12 were impressed with his size, arm, accuracy, work ethic, leadership, toughness, and ability to make every possible show. 2 of them wanted to see him play better when his first few options were covered. They thought he needed to improve his eyes during his progressions. When I pushed back, they said he was great at getting the ball out early and on time to the open receivers. The topic is now closed. Time for the Raiders to draft him first overall, prepare him to play, and see if he earns the right to start over Kirk Cousins. So today I have a global announcement. I have a massive announcement on my show, not the show before me or Q after me. I'm done on Mendoza. I'm closing the book today. He is the number 1 pick in the NFL draft for the Las Vegas Raiders. We have dove into every nook and cranny on this young man. He looks fantastic. We will embrace him. We will bring him into the Raider Nation. We will protect him against the evils out there of some of those horrendous fan bases that tear the Raiders down, mock the Raiders. We will not allow this to happen in the Raider Nation. We will be right there standing in front of Mendoza and behind him, protecting him on all fronts. He's our guy. He's our guy. He is the face of the franchise going forward on offense. He is the future of this franchise. He gives us the best opportunity to win multiple Super Bowls, not one, multiple Super Bowls in his career, the same way that Patrick Mahomes and Tom Brady and John Elway and others have come in. I'm not saying he's going to be better than those guys, but he gives us now, the Raider Nation, the opportunity to be great. And we got to be on the same page with this guy, period. If he throws interceptions, we're not going to treat him like Geno. If he has a bad game, we're not going to treat him like Garoppolo. We're going to treat this guy and we're going to give him a standard of excellence and treat him like he's one of us. He's part of our family. We will not waver with him. He's going to have growing pains. He's going to stumble. There's going to be some mistakes. It's not going to be perfect, but he's our guy. And we're going to start bringing the Raider Nation together again. And we're not going to splinter the Raider Nation. We're not going to bring in the people that claim to be Raider fans, but try to splinter the nation because they want clicks or they want memes or they want to sing or whatever. No, they're out. They're out. I don't hang out with them anyway. I got plenty of friends. I don't hang out with them. All right. We want people in the Raider Nation, in the black hole, in the group that are going to be really, really tight now. And we're going to grow with Mendoza. Yeah, we wasted 20 years. 20 years. We could have been great with Derek Carr. We were close with Derek Carr. We could have been better at times. It didn't work out. It's in the past. The Raiders chronicle the past as good as any team I know. Oh, my God. If you knew what the Raiders were doing right now to chronicle the history of this team, your mind would melt. You'd be blown away with what they're doing behind the scenes. It's one of the most aggressive legacy plays in the history of sports, what the Raiders are doing at Silver and Black Productions. It's remarkable. So we're going to talk about the past, the good and the bad. But now we have an opportunity to do something great with Mendoza. Okay, he's a Raider. He will be a Raider officially. We'll get him in-house. We'll make him feel great. We'll let him go to work. And then we'll just be fired up to have some good times coming here. So I'm closing down my Mendoza part of the draft. I'm good. Of course, if you want to call in on him and you're excited, please do. We'll be there for the draft. We're going to be going nuts. There'll be water cannon and confetti and drones, and it's going to be crazy. We love this Mendoza, but I'm all in talking about the other players now. It's time to get into that. We know the surprise is no longer a surprise. Fernando Mendoza knows there's no more surprises. He's coming in. So now we're looking at some of the other needs of the Raiders, and we want to hear from you at 702-365-9200. And I think everything's going to be wild next week. WWE will be done. People will be leaving, and then they're going to be coming into town for the draft. You think people want to go to Pittsburgh? You out of your mind? What? I mean, no, people who are covering it have to go to Pittsburgh, and they're going to do a great job. We're going to be the leader of all that. But if you're living in California, you think you're getting on a plane if you're Raider Nation, go to Pittsburgh? No, you're coming to Vegas. You're coming to Vegas. There's like 16 parties here. You're going to come here. The weather's great. The pools are open. You're allowed to gamble. You're allowed to stay out all night. There's no clocks in the casinos. You're going to have fun. So we're going to have a hell of a week next week. It's going to be unbelievable, man. I feel like my 24 and 22-year-old sons. I mean, I wish I was 24, 22 like my sons, but they, for whatever reason, stay in more than I do, Clay. I go out more nights a week than my 24 and 22-year-old sons.
They're choosy.
They're choosy, man. They're good kids. They're working. They're grinding, man. So I appreciate them. One of them's in the chat today as we continue. So, all right. So when we get going here today, as we get rolling here today, let it fly. What are you excited about, Raider fans? I got it all here. I mean, we've given you 12 insiders in 10 shows. I got another one today, 13. So what do you want to dive into that is concerning to you? Levi Edwards was in here yesterday, and I poked him. He's like a big guy, man. He's a big, strong guy. And I was getting him on the safety situation. Levi's really big on the safeties. I like the safeties too, but remember Carl Joseph? Remember some of the other safeties that we've had, and we drafted the safeties, and we said, oh, no, we drafted a safety, and he doesn't play. I've been with the team since 1998. Can you name how many great safeties we've had since 1998? Anybody? Rod Woodson? Charles Woodson? Remember them? Rod Woodson, one of my favorite Raiders, right? Charles, anybody else want to add some of the other great safeties that we've had? There aren't many, right? How could we go 20 to 25 years after having Atkinson and Tatum? Dave, some of the best safeties in Raider history. We need safeties now. Yes, thank you. Eric Turner. God rest. Eric Turner. Yeah, Van, no doubt. You look at some of the players who played hard. We've had plenty of safeties throughout the history of the organization. I'm talking recently. Chris in West Oakland's great on this topic because he always brings it up. Like we don't catch the ball. We don't catch the ball. The quarterbacks throw the ball 30 yards and our safeties don't catch the ball. What are we doing? Can we bring in some guys who can catch the ball? Like throw the ball, catch the ball on defense. We need safeties who can play. Someone said it great, and I don't want to discredit them. Enough with the box safeties. I've seen enough guys that can line up in the box and tackle. We can't guard Kelsey. We can't guard tight ends. We can't guard safeties up over the top, receivers over the top. Can we get a safety in here? Yeah, Kenny, I like Jeremy Chin too. Do you love Jeremy Chin? Do you love Jeremy Chin? I like Jeremy Chin. I like Isaiah Palomal. But everybody's telling me, my son the other night, it's like, Dad, this is a great safety draft. Okay, who? We ain't taking a safety number one. We're taking Mendoza. The second pick that we have early in the second round, we need a D tackle and a wide receiver and an O lineman. Oh, now you're going to spin to me that we're going to get a safety in the fourth or fifth round? I don't need another Carl Joseph. I need someone who can play and pick the ball off and catch the football. We need that. We got to get that. I need a defensive tackle who can demand the double team, like a big Ted Washington guy, a Darrell Russell. I don't need a guy who's good. J.J. Pegues, I like. Adam Butler, I like. Okay, I need someone like an Otis Sistrunk. I can line up on the inside or the outside. I need someone who puts fear in the heart of the opposing team. We got to get one of those guys. Now, we got two good linebackers from Georgia who are great friends with Brock Bowers. Thank God with Clay, we got the two linebackers. Oh, my God. How fortunate was Spytech to go out and get Nakobe Dean, to get Quay Walker, to get the guys that we have, that we don't have to get them now in the draft, man. That was a Christmas gift that came early.
Yeah, you don't have to go and waste a bunch of frontline picks on an area of need. Now you can say, all right, we can build some depth there, but you got actually explosive linebackers, guys that can go and change a game for you. That's something we haven't had in a while.
Yeah, I mean, look, absolutely. When it comes to, I liked Rolando McClain. Remember Rolando McClain? I liked him a lot. He was a great player in college. Not good. He was great. He wasn't a great NFL player. Right? We need guys who are going to be Pro Bowlers. There was a tweet that came out today about current Pro Bowlers for each team. And the Raiders were down at the bottom of the list. And I said, well, look, we need some Pro Bowlers in here. I think we got some Pro Bowlers. I really do. And we got Max Crosby's a Pro Bowler. Brock Bowers a Pro Bowler. I think Ashton Genty's going to be a perennial Pro Bowler when he gets going. Tyler Linderbaum, Pro Bowler. Oh, my God, look up, everybody. We got some Pro Bowlers here on campus over in Deep Henderson. We got some Pro Bowlers. So with that being said, we got the core of some really good players. Now we got to get a few more. And we got to get a few more that are going to make a difference. And as Clay and I discussed before the show, the big takeaway for the last 2 weeks is most of the people I interview, I initially ask them about Mendoza first, get that out of the way. Then I ask them what they think of the draft overall. And most of them say it's a pretty weak draft. And I said, what do you mean? They say, it's not a great draft, JT. It's not great. Okay, but that's just analysis of a bunch of guys in shorts, in tank tops. Some of these guys are going to go to the Hall of Fame, but we don't know where. So when we look at what's going to happen here, the key is the value of this draft. We got 10 picks, we the Raider Nation. I care about 4 of them. The Raiders care about 10 of them. And then another 10 of them were undrafted free agents. And I hope all those players turn out to be Raiders, and they're great. But I can't do a radio show on the 7th round. I'd get thrown out of here. My sponsors will be like, I don't buy your show to talk about the 6th round. I want to know who the second pick's going to be in the 2nd round. I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. I can't help you. I don't know what they're going to do. I know they need a wide receiver. I know they need a defensive tackle. I know they need safety depth. They need offensive linemen galore. We have the worst offensive line in football. We're the worst offensive line in football. So I know we need a lot of other things that are more of a priority. I don't think we need a tight end. We got Michael Mayer and Brock Bowers. Everybody's like, tell me, we need a running back. No, we don't. We have Ashton Genty. He's going to get the ball 240 times. We need a backup, and we need a guy who's going to get the ball a little bit. We'll find that guy. Don't worry about that. That's fine. But everybody else, man, we need depth. Are you good with the right tackle of DJ Glaze? I'm not. I think he's a good player. I don't know how good he is. There's new coaches coming in here now. They're going to evaluate Jackson Powers Johnson and DJ Glaze differently than Pete Carroll's son and former head coach Pete Carroll. They're going to tell you who's good if some of these offensive linemen that were kept are any good. I hope these offensive linemen that we have that are supposed to be okay are working out with Max Crosby. I hope they're doing some handwork with Max Crosby because Max is always available. But so we got to get some players in here. And the key to me is the first 4 picks. 1 on Thursday, a couple on Friday, and then give me a good one. Give me a good one on Saturday. So when they come in, we have the draft luncheon. We're doing what we're doing. We know that we got 7 new starters, Clay, and 3 more in the draft. That's 10 new starters. Now we got something to talk about.
Yeah, now you got a team that is considerably different than last year. You can wipe away a lot of last year when you see the kind of like personnel changes. That's what I love to see, going on these fields and watching the teams kind of like disintegrate before your eyes, and the personnel kind of getting in a low wave. Now they've hit a big wave, and now having more draft capital, maybe that changes the future too. Maybe this is a draft where they use more of their picks for what guys can go and say, hey, you know what? They can compete for starting jobs now.
Yeah.
Instead of development guys.
Absolutely. Development guys are a big part of this team. We're one of the worst teams in football. Worst teams in football dating back to last year. You could debate we were the worst team in football. The worst. Of course we need developmental guys. But the big picture story is we kept a lot of really good players who are retained under contract, and we got 7 to 8 new starters in free agency, and we have high draft picks. So as much as we've congratulated John Spytek on doing a wonderful job this offseason, he knows he's got to nail the draft. Got to come out of this draft and nail it. Because last year's draft, oh boy, look, woo, I was there. I was on stage with Eric Allen, Ashton Genty, right? Place went nuts, and we couldn't block for Ashton Genty. Okay, you let me go back in the hot tub time machine a year ago. Palms Pool, Ashton Genty going high for the Raiders with their first pick. There was a lot of optimism. Little did we know that we couldn't block him. We couldn't block for him. Little did we know. Now, if you knew and you felt like it was coming, congratulations. But they didn't tell us. I interviewed Chip Kelly. I had Chip Kelly. I did the preseason games. Are you good with this offensive line? Quote, yeah, we're good with these guys. They're pretty good. Huh. Really? No, they weren't very good because we didn't play the new guys who should have got some run. And then the older guys like Alex Kappa and Stone Forsythe, are you kidding me? I mean, we had guys on this team last year who were not up to NFL standards, and that was cleared out now. Cleared out, and only the strong are left. Only the ones who can make this team are left. Everybody else, I'm sorry, it's time to go. We're moving on, man. We're only bringing in better players now. And that's where we're at. So I'm good with that. I'm excited. I think everybody should be excited. This is the party moment. So again, I got one caller on hold. He's from Brooklyn. Do we have a radio show in Vegas? Like 9:20 a.m.? Anybody heard of it? Hey, 9:20, Vegas. Let's go, Vegas. You know, we're in Vegas. 702-365-9200. Here he is, Joe in Brooklyn, the only guy who's been ready all week. Go ahead, Joe.
GT, what up, baby?
Good to have you.
Good to be on. Listen, I'm happy with the overall direction of this franchise, okay? We haven't been this confident in about 20 years, and we've been the worst. We are the worst team in football. That's why we're picking first. Thankfully, Mendoza's there. As far as Mendoza, the kid's going to be fine, okay? He's big, he's strong, he's smart, he's accurate. Everything you want in a quarterback. I don't need this guy running a 4-4. I don't want him running. You know, I need him running to get a first down here and there. I want this guy to sit back, be able to read a defense, and get the ball out quick. A la Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning wasn't the most athletic. He was one of the smartest and got rid of the ball quick. He didn't have the strongest arm, you know, but he's very, very good. Hall of Fame quarterback. I'll take him on my team any day of the week. Going forward, guys like Carl Joseph and who was the other safety? I think Abrams that John Gruden had drafted. The problem is they reached for those guys and they were hurt. John Spytek is not going to draft or overdraft and reach for somebody. They have a clear plan. Well, you know, honestly, I don't think any pick they pick from the second, third, fourth, fifth, best player available, anything to help the team. I want an offensive lineman to, you know, help the kid and help Genty, you know. But like as far as the safety in the third, and just, you know, get some depth at offensive line, maybe a receiver, another linebacker. There's no wrong pick. I just want to make the right pick. Well,
a third or fourth round safety is a reach. I'm okay with that. It is a reach. You don't know if a fourth round safety is going to make the team. Like you hope he is. He's a good player. He played at a good school. He's not guaranteed anything. You got to hope that they scouted him perfectly and he makes the team in the fourth round.
JT, but like Spytek will do that. He's gonna drafting a safety in the first round, like Abram and Carl Joseph are always injury riddled. That's a reach in the first round. But we don't. Besides, they're few and far between these kids. A safety in the third or fourth round, I don't think that's a reach. A safety in the first round, that's a reach to me. But that's how you build your team. Max Crosby, listen, nobody saw Max Crosby in the fourth round. I mean, I'm not an evaluator, but there were 32 teams that passed on that kid, you know, and he wound up being he's going to be a Hall of Fame stud. You know, so it can happen, and I have trusted Spytek to get it right. But thanks, JT. Have a great weekend, bud.
Thank you, Joe. Appreciate Joe in Brooklyn. The radio show's on in Brooklyn today. How cool is that? I mean, I'm glasses half full guy. My weekend's here. I got a bucket of Modelo's in 90 minutes. I'm done. I'm good. I got 1 foot out the door, but I'm going balls out because I never mail it in for you. But Joe's in Brooklyn. Let's hear some people out west, like from Oakland, from Los Angeles, from Las Vegas. Let's get some West Coast diehard Raider Nation in here to sound off and get this thing moving. That's the monologue brought to you by the DeCastroverde Law Group. I talked to Alex DeCastroverde yesterday, invited me to a nice event for my buddy Cisco, and we're going to connect here real soon. Alex is a dear friend along with his brother Orlando, Brothers Win, brotherswin.com. You see their billboards all over town. You see their TV commercials, but they're my proud partner on the radio, the DeCastroverde Law Group, brotherswin.com. I got a lot to say on the NBA playoffs. Steph Curry's still alive. LeBron versus KD. Streaming games on Amazon. Are we done with that crap? Or that's the wave of the future? We got some baseball news. Good time to be here in Vegas. Brick Ripsaw said, talk more about WrestleMania. No, I'm not a wrestling guy. If you want to call in on WrestleMania and your passion for the sport, go ahead. Plenty of shows that'll do that. Don't want to get in the way with you WrestleMania guys, man. This is your weekend. Be safe.
Previously on Unnecessary Roughness.
You know, you're looking at the money and, like you said,
all right.
Say you got
that was fun.
You felt like that maybe
I ripped the show open. I go for 29 minutes. You take a little break, hydrate a bit.
But if you don't have a dance partner, it doesn't matter. You know how many times I wanted to go to the dance with somebody and didn't? I ended up going solo bolo. You know why? There was no dance partner. You can't force the issue, but that's all right. You make it work.
Unnecessary Roughness with your boy Q. Weekdays at 2.
Boyd Gaming is the official and exclusive local casino partner of the Las Vegas Raiders at Allegiant Stadium. Bring your friends, have some fun, but always bet on black. Visit their 10 casinos across the valley. Don't let the game get out of hand. Please bet responsibly.
Hi, sports fans. It's the Herd. We're here to talk about game changers. Just like in sports, business has all its MVPs and Ford.
Yes, I'm going through my R-Lad guy, looking at the Raider page. Got the Raider page open here.
Exceptional savings on your favorite Fords like the F-150, Explorer, and the Bronco. Visit Ford Country at the Valley Auto Mall or online at FordCountryHenderson.com. Ford Country, where the difference is real.
Hey, it's JT. Grimaldi's is hands down my favorite pizza in Vegas. Only at Grimaldi's can you get their famous New York style cold fire. All right, Clay Baker, let's get this going. Locations in the Vegas Valley, or check them out online at Grimaldi'sPizzeria.com.
Big news, Las Vegas. Les Olson IT has moved to a bigger, better facility to serve you like never before. Our new space means more technology, more service, and more solutions, all designed with you in mind. Plus, we're hiring. If you're ready to grow,
May 17th, so
join our team today.
Today's April 17th, May 17th, a month from today is the Raiders Gala. The Raiders Gala.
Hey, Jeff, how's the new job working out?
Really sucks. Terrible boss and the paycheck is even worse. I gotta get a new job.
Truck you.
Wait, what?
Truck you.
You don't have to curse at me.
Dude, you should check out Truck You CDL training. My brother got his CDL license in 4 weeks, and now he has a new career making great money.
Okay, I'm listening.
Truck You offers small classes with night and weekend times available.
All right, I'd love to call in, but I'm at work. That's okay, man. Again, no one has to call in. I'm an old school guy. When I don't see people on hold, it's like having a concert and seeing no one out in the crowd. And I like to hear from people. I like to know people are like taking shots and talking, because then all this just turns into BS podcast crap. I could have did this show 2 hours ago, uploaded it, handed it to Clay, and been golfing today. We're live, man. We're live. Live radio is going away. Do you all understand? Live radio is going away in your lifetime. Okay, I've been doing this 30 years. There will not be sports radio 15, 20 years from now. It's over. Not saying it's all going to be over. It's going to be over the way this show's done and the good ones are done. Over. It's all going to be stupid podcast crap. That's all it's going to be. And shows with people who have 9 guys wearing costumes. This is the essence of sports radio here. Live, uninterrupted. You don't know what's going to happen next. It's fast, and you just, you don't know what's going to happen. That's live radio. We're going to lose live radio in the next couple of years. My prediction is in 2030, there's going to be no more like sports radio like the way you all like it and I like it, which is just, hey, host goes balls out, talks to a couple callers, 2 or 3 guests, talk a little pop culture, and then it's over. These young program directors who suck, and we don't have one here that sucks. Q's amazing. But in general, the young program director in sports radio now can't talk, can't do shows, can't sell, and they're ruining this format. So we're going to take the format and keep it fast and intense. And sports. Remember, my big fame is I do sports on sports radio. I like to talk sports. My son's texting me, telling me what we need to rip now for reels. Let's do some reels.
Subscribe to it today. Welcome back to the JT the Brick Show, brought to you by the Black Hole, America football's most notorious fans.
A lot less energy spent on, hypotheticals, and we were just talking before we came down here. There's only one team that can get the exact person that they want, and we have that option to us available this year if we so choose. And so outside of that, it's not much different. I mean, we used to spend, would we do this, if these guys were there, would we trade down, would we ask for a premium? We only have to do that one time this year with the first round pick. And then you get to the second round, and it's just like it was. You know, do you want to trade up? Do you want to stay? Do you want to trade back? And what would it cost? What would we want to give up or acquire in order to do it?
John Spidek will go through some of his comments. We didn't even get a chance. We've been so busy here with some really good guests. Second hour's backloaded. This hour's pretty open if you want to get through. 702-365-9200. 702, that's Vegas. 365-9200 if you want to get in on your thoughts of the draft coming up. As I said in the monologue, I'm pretty much good now with Mendoza. I'm putting Mendoza to bed. Mendoza's our pick. We got it. We covered it. We knocked it out of the park. We got it. We got the fact we're getting Mendoza. Let's do some sports talk now. Let's get into some other topics. Let's try to figure out what the team needs, some of the other players, some of the important needs that are out there, and enjoy the party. Like this whole WrestleMania weekend's about a party. Fish is performing at Sphere. It's a party. Well, the whole world's coming to Vegas for the draft. It's a party. Let's enjoy the party. You know, sometimes you go to good parties, Clay. You ever go to a really good party, like a house party? Like you walk in and you're like, wow, they got it. This is a great party. The music's great. There's some food. Everybody's like really getting into the party. And then you've been at parties where you walk in and there's like 4 people on a couch and they're watching TV and you're like, I'm out of here. Well, this is a great party that's starting right now with Mendoza in this draft. We got to be a part of that party.
Yeah, it's like a week-long bender.
Yes,
there's going to be always drinks outside, people hanging out outdoors. There'll be a cookout every night. There's going to be music until midnight. You know, that kind of life is everything that we haven't seen in the longest time for Raider Nation. But now you can really sit back and celebrate it, because what will Thursday be like for you, right? So just lead up to that and have a deep breath and just have a sigh of relief, saying the future is now.
Because if you don't get dressed up for a good party, and if you're not ready, if you're not rested for a good party, I've said this, it's been my whole life. Like when you go to a good party, Cisco's in the chat, he knows. You got to enhance the party. Like you don't want to be the dead guy at the party or the bump on the log. You don't want to be the guy that's not having fun at the party. You want to be the guy who's in the party having fun. Well, we're all demanding that everybody, ups their game. This is a big deal. I don't ever want to have the number 1 pick again. Ever. I never want to do this again. This is it. No more number 1 picks overall. We got it. We had a rough season. A lot of shrapnel, a lot of damage, a lot of brain cells lost, potentially rebuilding as we speak. But now we get the number 1 pick. We don't want to have that number 1 pick again. We want to move on from that. So we want to hear from Raider fans who understand that what's at stake is critical here. What's at stake is those first 4 picks. And as I continue to look at the first 4 picks in the draft, as if I'm at Raiders.com, and if you go to Draft Central, so if you go to Raiders.com, they have Draft Central, and they have a countdown clock and the picks and everything that's going on here, and what the Raiders are going to do from pick 1 to pick 36 to pick 67. It's really easy for me in this draft. The Raiders have pick number 102 and 117. So I'm going to just round it off to 100. The first 4 picks are critical. 1, we know what 1 is. 36, 67, 102. Those are 4 picks. We know what 1 is. It's the next 3 picks. That's where I want to go. So I told everybody I got this new R-Lads guide that comes, and it comes every year, and it's just fabulous, man. And they have a page for every team. So when you look at every team, and at the cover of each top of the page, it has needs. So I switched to the Raiders page here for those who are watching on YouTube and can see how in-depth this is. And here was what they have said about the Raiders. Ready for this? This is from our lads. The Pete Carroll plan with Chip Kelly at offensive coordinator blew up in their faces and then ended up with them at the bottom of the NFL standings. They lost 10 of their last 11, finished with the lowest point total in the league. They accelerated the restart by spending as much money, if not more, than everyone in free agency to pair with the new head coach in Clint Kubiak, who comes from the Super Bowl champion Seahawks. So that's the opening line. Now it says their team needs. Number 1 quarterback. The Geno Smith experiment did not pan out. So we know where they're going. Their second need is defensive line. Okay, went in and the first thing they said was the surprise release of Christian Wilkins right before training camp derailed the defensive line. A lot of truth to that. Then they have offensive line and wide receiver. Exactly the way I've been covering this for over a month. The number one need, quarterback. Number two, D-line, O-line, then wide receiver. That's what our lads think are the needs of this team going forward. And those are pretty important needs. So that's pretty important if we can get this thing rolling correctly. So that's what I want to get into. Jesse Merrick will join us at 1 o'clock and we'll dive into that. But Raider Nation, do you agree with me that the first 4 picks are valuable to you, the listener to this channel? Or are you more interested in all the picks? Because the GM's interested in all the picks. We're not the GM. We're the radio guys. What do you want to get out of this thing? Do you want to get 4 explosive starting or good close to starting picks? Or do you want to add depth and build up the practice squad and build up the depth of the team? I'd like to know what Raider fans are thinking less than a week out from the draft. And the first pick is going to be Fernando Mendoza as we get this going. I want to jump into the NBA. A couple of quick topics here on the NBA. They already bent the rules on the 65-game rule. They instituted a 65-game rule to get players to play a minimum of 65 games so they could be in position to get year-end awards. MVP, Offensive Player of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year. If you don't play 65 games, you're ineligible. But they had 2 of their best players play less than 65. Luka Doncic was one of them. Luka Doncic is a hell of a player. So Luka Doncic on appeal won the fact to be considered playing less than 65 games because he had the birth of a child and he had to leave the team to be with his wife for the birth of the child, which I think makes some sense here. If you're ever going to bend the rules for anybody, it's not going to be because of drugs and alcohol or a hamstring. It's going to be because of the birth of a child. Also, Cade Cunningham, he had a collapsed lung. That's a very serious medical issue. So they gave him a waiver that he can compete for the MVP award. Now, either Luka Doncic or Cade Cunningham are not going to win the MVP. It's going to go to Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, SGA. He's going to win back-to-back MVP. And you could say Nikola Jokic could be the MVP also because he leads the league in rebound and assist. And he's a big man, and that's historic. But what it comes down to now is Cade Cunningham and Luka Doncic are eligible for the awards. Anthony Edwards is not. He also petitioned and he was shut down. So as we take a look at the playoff bracket, the big event that's going to happen this weekend is LeBron James versus Kevin Durant. That is the kickoff of the playoffs, and it's big boy basketball. 2 of the greatest players of all time. LeBron James will go down in history as the second greatest player of all time, arguably the greatest player of all time because his stats dwarf Michael Jordan. He's got plenty of rings with 4. You don't need 6. You don't need 11. All you need is 1. He's got plenty of them. And LeBron James is doing something at his age that Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Magic Johnson, Bill Russell, and Michael Jordan couldn't do. And that matters. LeBron is either 1 or 1A or top 2 or 3 of the greatest players of all time. Kevin Durant, you could say, is a top 10 player of all time. Not top 15 or top 20, top 10. He's a 7-foot shooting forward who could play center or guard. He's going to go up against LeBron James in this round here. And the Lakers are the 4 seed, the Rockets are the 5. This is critical for the Lakers to get out. Luka Doncic is not available, it looks like, for game 1. Austin Reeves could be out an extended period of time. So there's a built-in excuse for the Lakers. If the Lakers lose, they have a built-in excuse of Luka Doncic's injury. Kevin Durant's got no excuse. If Kevin Durant can't get by the aging LeBron James at the end of his career, plus 2 of his best teammates out, Durant is going to get dragged. He is going to get dragged if he doesn't get it done. The other big matchup where there's a lot of pressure is my Knicks are playing the Hawks. My Knicks got rid of Tom Thibodeau, the coach, for no reason. They thought he was too hard on the team. The team needed discipline. The team needed a coach who was going to work them hard, and Tom Thibodeau did that. but he's known for wearing players out. And he was able to do that. So they brought in Mike Brown, who's been fired 111 times. I don't know why they brought him in. If the Knicks don't beat the Hawks in the first round, then they should. That would be devastation, and everybody's going to get traded and fired from the Knicks, and they're just going to bring in Giannis Antetokounmpo and rebuild. So there are a couple of series that open up that are really good. Nuggets and Timberwolves are another heavyweight fight overall. And whoever wins between the Suns and the Warriors will take on the Thunder. I think there are a lot of Warrior fans who are watching and listening to the show and would like to see Steph Curry play another round. But let's make it clear. Steph and Draymond and the Warriors will get destroyed by Oklahoma City. So do you Warrior fans want to watch that series and watch the Warriors get boat raced? Or would you rather the Suns go in there and get humiliated? No matter who wins between the Suns and the Warriors, neither one of those teams stand a chance when it comes to taking on the Thunder. A good series, the Blazers and the Spurs. Oh, Clay, I forgot to tell you. Last night I watched the Jailblazers, the Netflix documentary that just dropped. I mean, you kidding me? Damon Stoudemire, Rasheed Wallace, Bonzi Wells. They all went up to Portland. They all got up to Portland, good players. And they all got into weed more than any weed convention you ever seen in your life. They got up there. They're in this little sleepy town. They decide to move into a neighborhood where a whole bunch of older people live, and the cops were at their houses every night, smoking blunts, driving under the influence, smoking weed, coming home from the game. Everybody in the league's wearing suits. They're not. Fascinating documentary. And they went to the Western Conference Finals against Shaq and Kobe and had a 13-point lead in Game 7 of the Western Conference Finals. 13 points. And they lost to Kobe and Shaq. And everything derailed. It was really good. If you're looking for a good sports documentary, I would highly recommend the Jailblazers. It was in-depth, Clay, about that team. And you know a lot about Rasheed. Yeah. I thought Rasheed was a really bad guy up there because of all the technicals. Because when they went to the Western Conference Finals, he didn't have a lot of technicals. The next year, he broke the all-time technical record. He derailed the team. He became a bad guy. He got moved to the Pistons and won a championship.
Yeah, it was a crafty move by Joe Dumars and Larry Brown to go and pull that together. But the Blazers themselves were such an enigma because they were on this great playoff streak, 20 straight years of making the playoffs. And then after that colossal loss against the Lakers, things began to shake down. And it was funny because when Paul Allen bought that team, and he was listening to the team, what do you need? We want to build a different culture. He ended up buying some radio stations locally and turning them into hip-hop stations just so the team would have something to listen to. They were doing everything they could to rebuild the culture. Paul Allen was a genius even way back then.
They smoked a lot of weed, man.
Well, that's where all the good outdoor stuff was back then.
And the cops broke into Damon Stoudemire's house while he was out of town. They broke in without a warrant and found a pound of his weed, and he won in court. It was an illegal. They just walked into his house and broke into his house looking for weed. It was crazy. Go watch it. Hey, when we come back, we'll set it up. Jesse Merrick at the top of the hour. Dan Duva at the bottom of next hour. He's the voice of our Vegas Golden Knights. And Johnny Katz will go around town. That's going to be our award-winning hour coming out. Brought to you by Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers, One Love. Are you a Caniac? I love the box combo. I love the crinkle-cut fries, the buttery Texas toast, and the sauce made in store every day. Raising Cane's, proud partner of our show, One Love. All right, man. We got Jesse Merrick coming up, Dan Duva, and Johnny Katz. Those are all pretty good guests. Excited for all of them. Going to go hydrate a second. Let's go hydrate.
Zero Raz is there for you. They clean the right way.
to have everybody here. Yeah, my Modelo.
We give cash advances for anything, or buy your home in 24 hours if needed. No stress, just solutions, Jacob. So if you're even thinking about selling, call a team buyers and sellers already trust.
You can't tell me that this Roman Reigns guy and the other blonde guy are at the same level as Hulk Hogan and The Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin. Come on, you can't tell me that. Don't tell me that.
Modelo Especial, the new #1 beer in the U.S.
Is to be there with my entire family and extended family. A lot of times at this point, it takes a village. And I'm so grateful and thankful that so many great role models, mentors, parents in my life have allowed me to get to this point. I'm going to be able to celebrate them and celebrate their moments. They are important to me and allow our entire family to get to this point.
That's Fernando Mendoza, and I just retweeted the NFL. That would be the NFL just put out a really nice video on Mendoza. I just retweeted it. After breaking records and making history in college, it's now time for Fernando Mendoza's next chapter, and it's a big promo for the NFL draft on NFL, ESPN, ABC, April 23rd to the 25th. So that's going to be our story. We own that story here in Vegas. He will not be in Vegas till the next day. After that, if you're fortunate enough, and hopefully you're going to get to the team headquarters where Mendoza is going to be introduced, that's going to be a massive day. So next Thursday and Friday will be crazy. And then another housekeeping announcement the following Sunday. So the draft is Thursday. Round 2 and 3 is Friday. Then you have the rest of the draft Saturday and Sunday. Sunday, the Bolitnikovs are in town, and I'll be off on Monday to MC for the 21st or 22nd year in a row, the Fred Bolitnikov Hall of Fame Golf Classic out at Dragon Ridge. So we'll have a meet and greet Sunday night at M Resort, and then the golf will be on Monday, a week from this Monday coming up here. And Fred and Angel will be here. We'll be raising money for Tracy's Place of Hope. All the Raider legends will be here for that, playing golf, from Tim Brown to Marcus Allen to Phil Villapiano. All of them are blowing up my phones. They're all coming out here. So that's going to be a fun, 3 or 4 days of big time Raiderism. Everybody's coming into town for Fred. Imagine Fred Bolitnikov giving you a call and saying, hey, you want to play my golf tournament? Who's going to turn that down? So we got a lot of people coming into town for that, and that will be a lot of fun. So Jesse Merrick will join us at the top of the hour. He's really good. He went out on his own platform, and it's blowing up. I'm going to talk to Jesse about his needs in the draft. Where does he think the Raiders are going to go after Mendoza? How important are those picks there right after? Do the Raiders trade up or do they trade back? Dan Duva, the voice of the Vegas Golden Knights, will preview the opening round. This is huge. Vegas, you got to be feeling really good about our Knights. They are the Pacific Division champs. They'll have 2 rounds with home ice advantage. We open up against the Utah Mammoth, team we should beat. They're a good team. They're young. They got fresher legs. That's okay. We got to put them down in 5. We can't go to 6 or 7. Got to keep the legs fresh. If the legs are fresh, then I think it's only going to help them win the cup. Yeah, and you better believe I think they're going to win the cup. We're here to win the cup. We're not here to make the playoffs and win a round. Vegas Golden Knights have already won a cup. We got to win another one here. That could be great. All right, Jesse Merrick will join us on the other side. This hour was brought to you by the 872 Laborers. Oh, my God, is Tommy White good in the 872? They build this city on time and on budget. Whenever they get involved in a project, they get it done. You can't do anything in this town if you want to build it on time, build it big, and do it the right way without our proud partner, the 872 Laborers, led by Tommy White, proud partner of our show. Yeah, I'll take that one. Thank you. Cool. I'm getting political ads now. People are sending me political ads. I don't want that. So I hit block. Block content.
Modelo is an official cerveza of the Las Vegas Raiders and the JT the Brick Show. Modelo Especial is a rich, full-flavored Pilsner-style lager, delivering a crisp, refreshing taste, brewed with fighting spirit since 1925.
Boyd Gaming is the official and exclusive local casino partner of the Las Vegas Raiders at Allegiant Stadium. Bring your friends, have some fun, but always bet on black. Visit their 10 casinos across the valley. Don't let the game get out of hand. Please bet responsibly.
At Kohl's, spring style starts with the season's best shoe sale and continues with 15% off the rest of new looks. Book with great outfits from Kohl's.
Cisco, what's going on, man? That documentary, Cisco, you talking about the Jailblazers? I'm catching this late. And those Jailblazers were gangsters, man. They were mean to the fans in Portland, man. They were mean. Hey, I need everybody to go watch the video we did with Wasted Talent yesterday, and please subscribe. We got some new subscribers, some new viewers yesterday from his side and my side. So if everybody can hit like and go subscribe, we put out that new video with Wasted Talent. If you could please like it and subscribe to it, we appreciate it. Yeah, if you can watch that video, I'd appreciate it.
Have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them. They have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go. And that place is ZipRecruiter.
Oh, my Yankees are a mess. Did you see what Mike Trout did to my Yankees? 5 home runs. Jeez.
ZipRecruiter.com/radio right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
One moment can turn life upside down. Your comeback starts with the right team by your side. At Catastrophe Law, we spent decades helping injured Nevadans take back their lives. We never back down. We never give up. We're the Catastrophe Brothers.
Jesse, it's Clay. How's it going, man? Well, I'm all right, thanks. Is this a good time for you and JT? Cool. Thank you, sir. Stand by.
Hey, it's JT. Grimaldi's is hands down my favorite pizza.
Jesse is ready.
Okay, Jesse Merrick.
Style cold fire for double pizza. Grimaldi's has 4 locations in the Vegas Valley, or check them out online at Grimaldi's Pizzeria.
Trout is unbelievable. Could you just imagine if Trout was never hurt? Can you imagine if Trout just stayed healthy?
Las Vegas. It's the JT the Brick Show.
Just get up every day and take one step at a time and keep going and show up. We have a big mountain to climb, but we're not trying to do it all in one day.
Your silver and black home to sound off for over 25 years.
It's really important to me that we're a great team and the way that they were back in the old days. It's nothing that we say, it's what we do on the field. All the little things that win that have nothing to do with ski.
And now, here's JT.
Final hour of the week. Man, this is going to rip. Jesse Merrick in a second. John Katsalamidis on all the entertainment in town coming up. And the voice of the Golden Knights, Dan Duva. He'll join us here in about 25 minutes. So that's a good hour as we wrap up the week. We're all about the draft next Thursday, Friday. We'll be down at the Palms Pool, and we'll be back at the Raider facility on Friday. And I'm thrilled to talk to Jesse Merrick. What a platform he is building at Silver and Black Sports Network, and he is all over the draft. Jesse, thanks for doing this. How much have you enjoyed this draft process? Because it's a little bit weird knowing Mendoza's going to go number 1, and now we're waiting for that next pick, which is early in the second round. Mm-hmm.
Now being able to do this as my full-time gig here to be able to fully dive into it. It's been a lot of fun.
Jesse Merrick is our guest, so I know you put out a podcast, The Clues. the clues that you got from John Spytek, Clint Kubiak, and what you're seeing here. You're trying to connect the dots between their top 30 visits. What have you found out?
Yeah, I mean, the big one is, and we've all seen this, but like they talked to 5 different guys on 30 visits alone that fit that X/like boundary type of receiver role. And we heard Clint Kubiak a while ago talk about like, oh yeah, it'd be great to have that X type of receiver, the Megatron type of guy. Who wouldn't want to have that? But it's very clear they really want that. And the way they've gone about doing it is you're looking at guys that, are in that second to probably 4th round range, where they can go. So that's where you can figure, okay, hey, they're going to leave this draft by selecting an X probably in that range. And this is a great draft to have that need too, because it's a deep draft in that regard.
Yeah, I'm looking at the top wide receivers, and when you see Cornell Tate and Lemon, and especially Jordan Tyson, who I watched him play a lot. My son went to Arizona State when he was there, and see what he was able to do. I like Concepcion, KC Concepcion, and what he's trying to do and get out in front of this with his letters to the GM. And then all of a sudden you look at Denzel Boston, and I think there's 5 to 6 guys that could go early in the first round, but one of them might drop into the second round considering needs. Who do you think that target could be if there's a really good receiver that you're projecting could be available in the second round? Do you have one or two?
Yeah, more often than not, when I've been doing these drafts, Denzel Boston happens to slide, to the top or to the second round there, and so, which is crazy because when I was first doing all these, he was gone, by the time they got there. So lately he has been there, and so is KC Concepcion too. And so I've gone back and forth on both of those guys. I'm higher on Denzel just as a receiver as a whole, and also to the fit of what the Raiders need too. So I would lean more that direction. But I think it'll be fascinating if both of those guys are there and they do decide to go receiver instead of maybe defensive line at the top of the second, which guy they get and how that'll kind of change the look of their offense. Because if they go and get a KC Concepcion type of guy, okay, you're thinking more probably similar to like what the Dolphins ran offensively with a lot of the speedsters and all that motion stuff. We know regardless if Kubiak's going to be doing a lot of motion, but if you add KC into the mix, it's probably going to be more of those jet motions, the cheat motions, and lots of movement and so much, things that we saw Mike McDaniel doing when he was out there. Whereas if they do bring in a Denzel Boston guy, you're like, oh, okay, this is the back shoulder guy for Mendoza, who can win with size, has that big catch radius, the physicality and all that stuff. And also, too, can move inside and outside as well. Or let's say they go a different route, and maybe at some point, whether it's in the second, if he happens to be there in the third, a Jeremy Bernard as well, who's got ties to Vegas. He is more of that like Deebo Samuel build, running back type of guy, but could also be like a very light version of a Jackson Smith and Jigba too. So there's so many different ways they could go about doing it if they don't decide to say, hey, we need that true X, whereas they're just going to get a guy who can do a little bit of everything.
Jesse Merrick is our guest. What a great content provider. This is interesting. What do you think we're going to get, or the Raiders are going to get out of Jalen Naylor? Like, what's his ceiling and upside, considering when Jefferson wasn't in the game and what he was able to do in Minnesota when he was featured as the number one in certain games? There's tape of him as the number one option in a few games where he was really good, got open. He was able to beat a double team. I just don't know how great he's going to be here. I'm hoping it's good if Bowers is getting double teamed and, there's single coverage on the other side. What are your expectations for him?
Yeah, that's the great thing with the situations the Raiders are in. Is like whoever their quote-unquote number one receiver is, they're really like the 1A or the 2 really because of who Brock Bowers is and what he can provide. So like that takes a lot of heat off of whoever that guy would be. And as far as Jalen Naylor goes, I mean, again, you mentioned it. Like anytime this guy got an opportunity, he came through, and so you can't look at him and not think, okay, this is a guy that with more opportunity can come in and succeed. Also has ties to Kirk Cousins too, so that's big, in terms of just getting on the same page quicker. I like this guy as a dude, again, who can do a little bit of everything. Like, you look at his speed, and I know they call him Speedy and everything like that, but, like, he to me isn't the guy where you're going to be like, oh, he's winning with speed, and you see the 4.5. He plays faster than I think that 4.5 is, but I think Trey Tucker will be more of that take the lid off type of guy, whereas I look at Jalen, and I'm like, man, he can be your kind of all-purpose guy, playing inside, outside. Obviously, he'll be motioning around on those deep overs, on the crossing routes, on the in-breaking routes, out-breaking routes, all those different things. He's succeeded in a lot of those areas. So that's going to be a guy that, honestly, I think when it's all said and done, we're going to look at it. He'll probably be right around that, like, 60-40 split, taking snaps inside and outside, and you're going to look at his route country and be like, wow, this guy ran every route in the book. It wasn't like he was known as being this one particular thing. So I think he's a real shrewd pickup. In terms of what his ceiling could be, I'd say that wide receiver 2/1A guy, again, what they do in the draft will dictate a lot of that. But if he's your number 2 receiver, kind of like the conversation we had with Jacoby Myers when he was here, like really good number 2 option. I think Jalen Naylor can be that for the Raiders. If they bring in another guy that is a pure receiver and draft one high that can be your number 1, I think you'd be hard-pressed to find other guys like a Jalen Naylor that could be as solid of a number 2 as the Raiders could have in him. Again, it's all to be determined, and we're projecting here, but I think he's got that ability in him.
Jesse Merrick joins us. Jesse, I've been burned over the last 20 years when it comes to safety and defensive tackle, not edge rusher. And the edge rushers have been few and far between other than Max, but the defensive tackles, I'm just not looking for another guy. I like Adam Butler. I like J.J. Pegues. Jonah Laulu. I like those guys, but they're not Pro Bowlers. Maybe one will turn out. I just wonder if the Raiders really have to use a 2nd or 3rd round pick on D tackle or even safety, because I know safety's a need. What comes off the board first for the Raiders, D tackle or safety?
Okay. Well, so my gut tells me that they're probably going to go D tackle in the 2nd round. That's where I've eventually fallen. Even with all this talk about Denzel Boston and the different receivers that are going to be there and how sexy that could be, I just think the depth is better at receiver. So I think what you do then is go look, okay, what's the next BPA or best position group that's probably going to be available there? And it's probably going to be the defensive line, which again goes great for the Raiders. So I would say that they're going to go D tackle before they would go safety. I think the solid spot to get a safety in this draft, round 3, round 4, that is. And in terms of the defensive line, I mean, they go and bring in Caden McDonald from Ohio State for a visit. That's a guy that I do think will be gone, by the time the Raiders are picking. But let's say he slides a bit. Maybe they're enticed to go jump up and get him, because you would be hard-pressed to find a better run defender in this draft on the interior of a defensive line than Caden McDonald. Like, you draft him, set it and forget it. You're like, sweet, that guy will help stop the run, make everybody around him better type of guy. But if he's not there and they still do decide to go defensive line, still not guaranteed that he'll be there, but Christian Miller out of Georgia is a guy that has been there a lot. And for me, it's always kind of come down to Denzel Boston or Christian Miller in the 2nd round, and I've leaned to Christian Miller just because he is your every down interior defensive lineman that you can feel comfortable about sliding in when they are in that 3-4 base 18 to 30% of the time. You can feel comfortable about him being your nose tackle. He can do what's required of that, but then he's disruptive and versatile enough to also be a really good 3 technique and be the guy that the Raiders were hoping Christian Wilkins would be too, So I think he's a guy that's super underrated, has a lot in his bag, and is really well-rounded. And I think that's a guy where if they took him and landed him, we'd be probably sitting back thinking like, man, that was a really big pick for the Raiders, long-term of being able to get a guy like that solidify the center of their defense.
Jesse Merrick's our guest. What a great, great segment this is. He's done the deep dive. He's done the work. Follow him on all his platforms. We'll get to that in a moment. What's interesting here is on radio, I deal with a lot of fans, but on the national side of it, no one believes that the Raiders are good enough yet to compete. Worst team in football last year, win total around 5.5, 6 max. What about the 7 new starters they brought in? Nakobe Dean, Quay Walker, Kwity Paye. You get a really good, solid slot corner. Then all of a sudden it's Tyler Linderbaum. Then Max comes back in through the back door again. You're like, oh, my God, Max is back. They're going to get Mendoza and a couple other starters here. Why does most of the national media and the pundits believe that the Raiders can't flip this the way that the Patriots did and Jaden Daniels did the year before with the Commanders from 4 wins?
Yeah, I think it's easy to sit back and look at the national conversation and look at the record from last year and all the turmoil and everything like that, how bad the offensive line was, the blowout losses that we saw throughout the year and all that stuff, and be like, oh, this team sucks. Like, there's no way they're going to be able to turn it around that quick. Like, that's very easy to sit there and do that. And especially, like, we're forgetting that they do have the number 1 overall pick. So it's a lazy thing to be able to say that. Now, I am of the world, honestly. I turned a little more towards them. Not to say that they're going to struggle to win 6 games or anything like that, but I think 6-7 games or 6-7 wins is right about the sweet spot for this team. I will say that. But I don't think that they're as devoid of talent as a lot of people are making them out to be. I think this is a team that's going to benefit a lot from better coaching and just a more stable situation, which, yes, we won't be able to see that that from the coaching staff really transpire for like 2-3 years to see if they really do get that time to build a foundation. But I think they're in such a better spot for it. You notice guys they brought in, like how many times we sat over the years, you covered this team for a long time, JT, where you're watching free agency and you're like, okay, like these moves kind of make sense, but like not really. They're just kind of throwing money around. Whereas now you look at it and you're like, okay, I see what they did. They're injecting this roster with a ton of young talent, guys that are still young, that feel like they have a lot to prove. I mean, guys with some elite type traits too. And if they hit on a couple of those guys, that could help correct some of the draft woes that they had over the years, of missing on some guys. And all of a sudden you're like, well, hey, this talent or this roster is now full of a lot of younger leaning talent and has a good foundation to build off of and continue to do well in the draft if they're able to hit on that. So I think this is one of those things where let's see what happens next year and what it looks like in terms of building the foundation for this rebuild. But I would not be blown away if at the end of next season, people are saying, hey, watch out for the Raiders to be a possible playoff contender 2 seasons from now. So like not this year, but the following season. I think the runway is a lot shorter than I think a lot of people want to admit.
Yeah, that's really fair. But, the problem is the home schedule this year has Denver, Kansas City, the Chargers, Buffalo, the Rams, and the Seahawks. Oh, my God. I mean, let me repeat that for our audience. The Seahawks, the Rams, the Bills, the Chiefs, Denver, and the Chargers. And then you got Tennessee mixed in there with Miami. But wow, when you mix in LA and Seattle and then on the road, you throw in the 49ers and the Patriots, you say to yourself, okay, where can the Raiders get momentum and start building? And I haven't talked to you since the Cousins announcement. What does your gut tell you on how many games you think Cousins will play? And we won't hold you to it. It's going to evolve. I'll be standing next to you on the sideline in camp. But as of today, as I talked to Jesse Merrick on the 17th of April, how many games do you think Cousins will start?
I appreciate the caveats and giving me full
yes.
and
I've done this before. Yes.
yeah. Honestly, my gut tells me we're going to see him. I want to say like at least 8 games. I really do think so. And I wouldn't be shocked if it's the entire season, to be completely honest, because the Raiders have made it very clear that they don't want to rush Fernando Mendoza. And you even played the bite leading into the segment where he talked about they have a mountain to climb, and they're not trying to climb it in a day. And yes, seemingly they've injected a lot of good talent into this roster. They go and get Linderbaum. They think this offensive line is going to get better, all these different things. But they don't know for sure. And you know how you take the pressure off of a young quarterback? You build up the team around them. And they're not going to really know what they have in this team probably till about midway through the year. And the great part about having Kirk Cousins in the fold is, one, and I mean no disrespect in saying this, he can kind of be your test dummy to see, hey, is this team what we think it is? Okay, well, Kirk can be the guy that's out there kind of testing it out. And also, too, he raises your floor because you're not trying to figure out what you have in your team while also bringing on a young quarterback and having them trying to learn the ins and outs of the league on a weekly basis. You're just like, hey, we've got a vet that's been there, done that. We don't have to worry about him game planning and things and getting him ready in that regard. Like, yes, there's still obviously plenty of work that's done in that regard, but he's been there, done that. So the floor is raised, and you just get a better read because of the stability that a guy like a Kirk Cousins can bring into the fold. So having said all of that, yeah, I wouldn't be shocked if they're like, hey, we're going to take this entire season, get a real good read on this roster, and then next year we know exactly what we need to inject into this roster, where the holes are, all of these things to put Fernando in the best possible situation. Does that actually happen? I don't know, but like I said, if I'm giving you a firm answer, I think we see Kirk start at least 8 to 10 games would be my guess.
8 to 10 games. I will take the under. But I think you could. No, well, we'll laugh about it because we're going to evolve. We're going to watch the preseason. We're going to watch practice, and we're going to see what happens. You've done an amazing job since you launched your own network, the Silver and Black Sports Network. Tell everyone where they can find it and what you got going heading into Thursday with all your in-depth team coverage.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks, JT. I appreciate it. You guys search us on YouTube, Silver and Black Sports Network. That's where all of our podcasts and a lot of our content lives. All of that completely free. And then if you go to our website as well, silverandblacksportsnetwork.com, you can sign up for our free Raiders newsletter too. That's where sometimes we'll do more deeper dives on different things like that. In the most recent one that actually just dropped this morning, we dove a little deeper into why Denzel Boston actually fits this team, what it could look like with Fernando Mendoza and all of that. And then coming up next week, I have done one live mock draft. I hate being that guy that's going to be like, oh, let's do mock draft. next Tuesday, I will be dropping my second and final mock draft.
Good.
And I'm approaching this one from kind of trying to put on that Clint Kubiak / John Svitek hat and not do what I think they should do or things like that, but do what I think they will do in those positions as guys, are available, through each pick. It'll be a full 7-round mock.
Oh, wait a second! You're going to do a 7-round mock draft, not a 2 or 3, and just I love it. Wow, you're going out in the deep water, man. You're going way out there. All right.
No floaties or anything. I'm diving right in, JT. We actually did a full 7-round mock for the first one, and I realized how much of a beast it was, and I was like, "Oh, I really got to do a deeper dive on these day 3 guys." So I've done that. I'm ready. I'm excited for it. That's going to be a lot of fun. That'll be dropping on Tuesday on our YouTube page on Tuesday morning at 10 a.m.
You got it. I'll send everybody there. Thanks for doing this. I'm sure I'll see you a bunch coming up here.
Yes, sir. You're the man, JC. Appreciate it.
Take care. Jesse Merrick. Very good. As I said, I've known Jesse in passing, and I think he's a really good guy. And the reason we have him on here is he left the television side and went out on his own. Flashing lights. I love that. I left being a stockbroker at Merrill Lynch to do this. Took a big pay cut to get into this business. Gave everything up to get in here after winning a caller contest on the Jim Rome show. And people do it different ways. A lot of people get into the business different ways. I don't care how you do it, as long as you work. And the reason why I get chippy from time to time is he's not cutting the line. The line cutters are the people that want to come in and just get on a radio show. Well, what do you mean you want to get on the show? Yeah, I want to be on the show. No. You don't see me have 7 people sitting here. It's me and Clay. You don't see 9 people here. No. The people who deserve to be on the radio have to earn it. They just don't get on because they wear a gold chain and a hat on sideways. And now they're on TV. That's where the sport is going, sports radio. Dress up weird and you might get on a show. What? No, you do what Jesse Merrick did. You leave your job, you launch a new platform, and then it really builds up and you got something on your own. So that's why I really like what he's doing. He's excellent and good information there. 7-round mock draft, Clay. I mean, the 7-round dudes, those are the guys, man. But that's when you get to the 6th round and you're like, okay, it's the 6th round, the 18th pick to the Titans. Like, how do you put that slot in? Like, who do you take and put in that slot? I don't know how you do it.
Yeah, I mean, and that's why last year there was Montana State, North Dakota on this roster, drafted in there. So, yeah, you can see where you got to, go through the entire country. Every coast is covered.
Yeah, you do. You do. You got to go. You really got to do a lot of work, man. Sometimes you got to put the work in. A 702-365-9200, a small window for you to get in. Take advantage of it. Coming up next, Dan Duva, the voice of the Golden Knights. What a business card that is. I'm going to tell, how would you like to be floating around this town saying you're the voice of the Golden Knights? That's a pretty good gig. He's fantastic. We'll talk to him about VGK's run to the Cup. Yes, they have to make a run to the Cup. In the Western Conference, you have Colorado. You have Connor McDavid in Edmonton. The Kings are playing well. When you think of Dallas and what they've done recently, it's not easy, but by winning the Pacific, Vegas set them up for home games at the Fortress, which should be excellent. And I'll be at a few of them. No doubt about it. I'll be at a few of those games if they're not on a Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. We're counting down to the NFL draft as we continue on. The M Resort Spa and Casino. They got 2 towers. Fred Biletnikov's having his kickoff party next Sunday there for his great golf tournament because the M, that's where Freddie lives. Freddie lives at the M. And they got 2 towers now that are better than one.
Previously on Unnecessary Roughness.
Every team is different. People have different mindsets.
All right, I'm going to keep it here today for 2 hours. I'm going to do a 2-hour extravaganza, man. 2 hours today.
That's what they do. But at the end of the day, you go and get a really good football player, and you get a guy that you see and identify as what you're looking for. And he goes out there, balls out. I don't think anyone worries about 4 or 5 spots. He was drafted at 36.
Check my phone for a bit.
Unnecessary Roughness with your boy Q, weekdays at 2.
Making money isn't all that hard, but keeping it is tough. It's why I like having a One Nevada One checking rewards account. All I had to do was set up direct deposit with my job, and boom, I get paid 2 days early, just in time for the weekend. And when I do have to spend, I just make sure it's with my One Nevada debit card, and I get cash back. So get your money sooner and keep more of it with a One Nevada One checking rewards account. Visit onenevada.org.
So just text me, comedian Jay Moore Jay Moore. I sent him a nice compliment. He got right back to me. That's nice. I listened to Jay Moore on a podcast I listened to, Fly on the Wall, with Dana Carvey and David Spade. I like that podcast. I listened to it.
There are 10 casinos across the valley. Don't let the game get out of hand. Please bet responsibly.
If you were injured in an accident, why would you call anyone but the Richard Harris Law Firm? We fight for the largest possible settlement in every case, recovering billions for our clients. Who you hire matters. Why would you call anyone else? The Richard Harris Law Firm.
Hey, it's JT. Grimaldi's is hands down my favorite pizza in Vegas. Only at Grimaldi's can you get their famous New York-style coal-fired brick oven pizza. Grimaldi's has 4 locations in the Vegas Valley, or check them out online at Grimaldi'sPizzeria.com.
Whiskey Stadium turns into the ultimate hype zone this Saturday at noon. Right across from Allegiant. Dive into the WrestleMania pre-party and score your last shot at winning Coors Light Silver Seats for Saturday Night Showdown. Powered by Finley Toyota and Coors Light.
We're hiring at A1 Garage Doors. No experience, no problem. We provide full training, a brand new van, top-of-the-line tools, a gas card, and steady jobs with weekly pay. This isn't just a job. It's a career with real growth.
Oh,
great
man.
pay, and
What a day out here. What's the weather like? Well, give me a weather update. Everybody put in the chat, what's the weather like in your part of the world? I'll go first. We have... Las Vegas, only 63 degrees today in Las Vegas. 67 will be the high.
These products and services save energy and money. There are discounts and rebates on energy-efficient devices and free smart thermostats. Take savings to the next level at nvenergy.com/powershift. PowerShift by NV Energy. This is what we do.
Hey, Las Vegas, are you tired of plumbing prices that break the bank?
70 and fair. Big D, 70 and fair. Perfect in, what is that, Solano? Solano? Esther Short Park.
Extend the life of your water heater
Esther Short Park. 73 in Fresno, South Fresno. Willie Wayne in South Fresno. I don't know the Central Valley well, man. I've only driven through there like once. The Central Valley. A lot of Raiders from Tom Flores, Darryl LaMonica, Derek Carr.
With affordable payments and easy approvals. Picture yourself behind the wheel. Music up, on the road to what matters most. Apply today at weststar.org or stop by your nearest branch. All loans are subject to approval. Terms and conditions apply. Must be a member to borrow. Membership requires a savings account with a minimum balance.
The Vegas Golden Knights are rolling through another epic season. And there's nothing more refreshing than an ice-cold Surfside to enjoy while you cheer on your Knights on the ice. Surfside is only 100 calories, 2 grams of sugar, and 0 bubbles. That's right, no carbonation. So it's easy to sip and enjoy. It's not seltzer, it's Surfside, official partner of the Vegas Golden Knights. Sold in arena and at bars,
Let's try to get to Dan a few minutes early, then we'll break for Johnny Katz. So I want to try to get Katz up. Okay, cool.
Hey, Jeff, how's the new job working out?
Really sucks. Terrible boss, and the paycheck is even worse. I gotta get a new job.
Truck you.
Well, that's a beard going now.
You don't have to curse at me.
Dude, you
The
should
Mad
check
Bomber,
out
yeah.
CDL training. My brother got his CDL license in 4 weeks.
Yeah, it's
and
good
now
golf
he has a
weather
new
out here.
career making great money.
Okay, I'm listening.
Truck You offers small
Rio
classes with night
Vista.
and weekend times available. They will even help with payment programs. Check them out. Truck, the letter U, LV.com. Truck You.
One moment can turn life upside down. Your comeback starts with the right team by your side. At DeCastro Law, we spent decades helping injured Nevadans take back their lives. We never back down. We never give up. We're the DeCastro brothers, and we have your back.
Oh. Yeah, I watched the Jailblazers documentary last night, and I'm almost done with season 3 of Tehran on Apple TV. What a good show. Looking for a new show, Tehran, on Apple TV, man. That's a good show. Those Iranians, that Revolutionary Guard, those are one tough group of nasty, nasty people, man. See what's going on. Has nothing to do with what's happening now, but a lot of similarities. Flores from the University of Pacific.
not about the injury, it's about the recovery.
Welcome back to the JT the Brick Show, brought to you by M Resort Spa and Casino, the official hotel of the Las Vegas Raiders.
Now a 2-on-1. Eichel with Stone. Eichel right side. He shoots. He scores. Jack Eichel clinches a playoff berth for the Golden Knights. An overtime victory in Denver. 3-2 Vegas. For the 8th time in 9 seasons, the Golden Knights are playoff bound. And with 2 points today, take over the top spot in the Pacific Division. A 2-on-1. Eichel from the right wing thought about passing to Stone, but shot it himself. Eichel's 26th goal of the season and his second in 14 games. The Knights come back from a 1-0 deficit and ultimately defeat the Avalanche 3-2 in overtime.
Dan Duva, who will be joining us momentarily, the voice of the Vegas Golden Knights. JT, as we're back. Hey, we're brought to you by The Black Hole. As you know, go to theblackhole.com and find a way to sign up and get in there so you can go to the Raiders draft party. The one that they're going to have is going to be right on the top. Ghost Bar. It's going to be off the charts. You just heard Dan Duva, and he's kind enough to join us. Wow, Dan, you've been on a roll. What's it been like since Torch took over for Bruce Cassidy and this team's played so well?
The spirit has been lifted for sure. I'm really interested to see how that works over a longer period of time. It's not been 3 weeks yet since John took the reins, and they have not suffered a regulation loss. It's 6-0-1, and John Tortorella's taking over also coincides with Carter Hart getting healthy in goal. So it has been all positive. They finished the regular season with points in 10 straight, and that's 2 games longer than their previous streak.
What's interesting is one of the things we have in common is we both speak to the head coaches. You speak to the head coach of the hockey team. I speak to the head coach weekly of the football team. And when they're struggling, professionally, you got to take the high road. And when you're losing, something's got to give. And when Bruce Cassidy was let go, I wanted to give him a show. We did a whole show here giving him respect for winning the cup. They'll never be able to take it away from him. But I've covered all of John Tortorella's career and saw all the stops along the way. Why was he the right guy at the right time when it was necessary?
It's a great question. And I think when I used the word spirit earlier, I think that is partly the cause where, the team just couldn't get over the hurdle. They'd have a couple of impressive wins. Remember, they had a shutout of Chicago and beat up on Pittsburgh here at home, 4-0 and 6-2. And you said, okay, now that the ship is right. But then, they would fall behind, and they spent more minutes this year trailing than any team in the league except for Vancouver, worst place team in the league. That's just not sustainable. And so you start to think, the talent is there, the roster has been built appropriately. Sure, they didn't have a healthy goaltender for long periods of time, but it's just this team should be better than that. And then you start to think of the psychology. And I think that John Tortorella being, instilling a more aggressive mindset, boost the spirits, much more of a cheerleader than Bruce Cassidy. Bruce is great at X's and O's, but he would tell you himself that he's not a cheerleader. John Tortorella most definitely is.
So Jack Eichel with 90 points here, and just give me a big picture of what he's done all year, especially with the gold medal, the wear and tear on his legs, the travel to Milan, coming back. The coach gets let go. He's got a new coach. They're peaking at the right time. What type of season has this been for Jack Eichel?
Yeah, it's amazing because last year he set the franchise record with 94 points, and then you add Mitch Marner to the equation. You think, boy, both of those guys could get over 100 points. Vegas never had a 100-point player. Mitch had over 100 with Toronto last year. But then you throw the compressed schedule into it, the trip to Milan for the Olympics. Yeah, I mean, how many people can say they've won the Stanley Cup and the gold medal? And by the way, Jack's not even 30 years old yet. So I think that the compressed schedule, the Olympics, trying to figure out if he and Mitch Marner were going to play together. It's worked on the power play, but it just has not clicked very much at 5-on-5, or at least it had not since John Tortorella's taken the reins. He sort of jumbled things around. It's like shuffling the deck where he's got 3 sets of lines. There will be times where Eichel and Marner are not playing together, but then when John sees an opening, he will put put those two guys together and load up. It's not as though he's changing the lines permanently or he needs a spark necessarily. It's more a matter of just an in-game tactical decision to make. And it seems to have worked. It seems to have rejuvenated those guys a little bit. And Marner ends up being 1 point shy of a point per game, but still only the second player in team history to hit 80 points. I think it's been a solid year for Jack Eichel. He had this long stretch where he had not scored a goal, went 1 goal in 13 games, but then he's broken out of it. And again, look at the raw numbers. I mean, nobody else in team history has hit 90 points other than Jack Eichel. He's now done it twice in as many years.
Dan Duva is the voice of the Golden Knights. How does Mark Stone play 21 less games than Mitch Marner and have 4 more goals than him and 73 points to his 80? How's that even possible?
It's wild. And Kelly McCrimmon was asked about Mark Stone this morning. Darren Millard asked a great question because you know that Kelly has watched Mark Stone his entire life, not just his NHL or pro life, but back to his junior and younger days. And Kelly said that this might have been Mark Stone's best season. Did have some injury trouble back at the beginning of the year and missed a handful of games just after the Olympics. But given his play, you would not know that he had been out for any period of time. The numbers were there. And when you watch him play on a night-to-night basis, then you see all the stuff that he does away from the puck, aside from the points, not to mention leadership qualities. And yeah, we know that Mark has had back trouble in the past. Imagine, flying all the way to Italy, playing those intense Olympic games, lose the gold medal, then you've got to come back and go across the country. Then the team's going back to DC, et cetera, et cetera. So all of that, I think, Mark just, sort of complementing whatever line or unit he's playing with, power play, even strength. When we talk about how Mitch Marner comes to the team and makes everybody better, I think that some of those points for Stone are the result of that. But these guys are, still in their prime. And, Mark Stone, there's no reason why he can't continue to improve here. In terms of points per game, he's right there at the best in team history at points per game basis.
Dan, I know a little bit about Utah. You know a lot more. For them coming from Arizona, a lot of their players don't have the playoff experience that VGK has, but younger legs, the excitement of a franchise that's new up in that community when they get home games after the first 2. What does Vegas need to be careful about? I don't think Vegas can go 6 or 7 if they want to go deep out into the postseason. Some of these series they got to put away quickly so they're ready for the second round. How do you say it?
Yeah, no, I think that's an important point because we remember, especially against Dallas, when Vegas gets out of that round against the Stars, it was a 7-game series. You figure whoever gets out of this is not going to be able to go far just because how beat up they were. Similar Vegas against Minnesota. Vegas advances, but then just not enough to get over the hurdle in the second round. So you're right. When the Knights got to the finals in 2018, they swept the Kings. In 2023, when they got to the finals, they beat the Jets in 5. So having a quick early series is important. And, this organization, currently the Mammoth, but before that, this hockey operation was in Arizona. It's been a long time since this organization has had any postseason success. But they've got one of the longer tenured coaches in the NHL now, and Andre Tourigny. He was there in Arizona. Lots of changes over the course of the last few years for this organization, changing arenas, then changing cities. And there's a certain fire there. I mean, there was some talk about maybe his job was in doubt, but he got the ship righted. There's an identity with the team. There are some players who've been there over the long haul. Clayton Keller, their leading scorer, Nick Schmaltz. Dylan Guenther has led the team in goals this year. He had 40 goals this year for Utah. And then they do have some playoff experience. Mikhail Sergachev, a great defenseman. He's their top defenseman. He's come over from the Tampa Bay Lightning organization. And then an old friend, Nate Schmidt.
Yes.
Who had great experience with the Golden Knights, going to the finals and original misfit in 2018. So they've got some young upstart talent. But the question is, do they have enough experience to get through the veteran nature of the Golden Knights behemoth?
All right, last one, Dan. How does the draw set up for this great hockey organization? Because you got to play who's in front of you. We know Edmonton. The Kings made a great push. The Ducks, what a year for them. And then looming, as we know, Colorado. But with the 2 rounds winning the Pacific with home ice, what needs to be done, in your opinion, so they could have fresher legs, keep this peaking at the right time, and get through the West? How do they do it?
They need to continue what's been happening under the last couple of weeks of John Tortorella, where they have been more aggressive, they've gotten more production from the blue line, and they've also kept the puck out of the net. Since John Tortorella took over, and this does coincide with Carter Hart getting healthy, they have the best goals against average in the league. That, of course, was a big part of their success last regular season when they were number 2 in that category, but that came down in the postseason. If they can, when things get tighter in the playoffs, they can continue to keep the puck out of their net, and that they're not doing as much watching and waiting in the defensive zone. In other words, guys, it used to be let the opposing team work the perimeter and will allow a low percentage shot, but that just didn't continue to work. The way the team's playing now, they're more aggressive. They want to go take the puck away, put the pedal to the floor. That doesn't mean that they're not patient. It's a slight distinction that John Tortorella has made. So if they can keep that up, and if they can get the goaltending, they've got more than enough offensive talent and depth among the forwards. I think if they continue this level of goal prevention, that's going to be able to take them a long way.
Yeah, and as I'm sitting here as a fan who gets to cover the team, what concerns me here with Carter Hart, I'm sensing, because we've seen this even when Fleury played in Pittsburgh and won the Cup, like a quick trigger to pull a goalie if a goalie drops a game or a goalie doesn't look good. What is Tortorella's background with this? Because we know his loyalty to Carter Hart and what happens here, and there's another successful goalie. I'm just hoping that whoever they put out and Hart's going to be the one stays hot and they don't touch him. But if it does get a little dicey early on, and this is just not a Vegas Golden Knight question, it's everyone in this league who says, man, our season's 2 games away from being eliminated. We're going to make a goalie change.
Yeah, and you've seen it in recent years. Like right now, Minnesota is facing this, where they basically rotated 2 excellent goaltenders this year. Well, that's normally not what you do in the playoffs. Do you pick one and run them, or do you continue what you've done throughout the regular season? Vegas had this back in 2021. You had Marc-Andre Fleury and Robin Lehner. They had an excellent, though it was an abbreviated 56 regular season game schedule. They were terrific. And then in the playoffs, for whatever reason, Pete DeBoer just didn't quite tactfully handle who was going to start when, and it cost the Knights in that third-round series against Montreal. Remember when the Knights won it in 2023? Lauren Brossoit was the starting goaltender. You had Jonathan Quick on the roster. Logan Thompson was hurt. Yuri Patera had even been called up. Aiden Hill didn't get in until the second round when Brossoit got hurt, and Hill took the Knights the distance. Vegas had 4 goalies on the Stanley Cup etched into the Stanley Cup. That's rare. But the point is that oftentimes to go the distance, you need multiple goalies. Heck, even when the Knights lost to the Capitals, Marc-Andre Fleury was great in the early game. So good against L.A. in that series against Jonathan Quick, but not quite the same at the end. Meanwhile, Washington, Philip Grubauer was the starting goalie at the beginning of that postseason for Washington. That wasn't going to last. Braden Holtby was the number 1, and eventually he did take the reins back, and he was at his best when they needed him in the Stanley Cup final when they won it against Vegas. So the goaltending story never unfolds exactly the same way, but Aiden Hill has already won the Stanley Cup for the Golden Knights, and he's your number 2 going into this postseason. I think that's a pretty good place to be, especially given Carter Hart's relationship with John Tortorella. They were together in Philadelphia for 2 years and kept in touch, and I think that that's an important thing to consider here is Carter's clearly been the number 1 guy here going into the postseason.
Well, I checked the box, and I wanted to get you on to preview the playoffs in the first round. We did it. Have a great call with the games. I'll see you in the press box with Lawless and my good buddy Joe Sands, and keep doing what you're doing. The best in the business. Appreciate you, Dan.
You too, JT. Thanks very much. Glad to chat anytime.
You got it. Dan Duva, the voice of the Golden Knights. That's big-time radio. I had nothing to do with it. That's what you do in New York, Boston, Detroit. You get the voice of the hockey team on when the playoffs start. We need to do more sports. We're a sports town. We got to talk hockey. We have a great hockey team. We will dive into some hockey along the way. So that's what we're going to do. When we come back, we'll wrap up the week with Johnny Katz. I can't even keep up what's going on in town. You're going to love this conversation. He'll tell you what's happening here in Vegas from WrestleMania. He was with Bruno Mars when Bruno Mars had the street named after him. Should be a good conversation on entertainment with the great Johnny Katz. He joins us next. Thank you. What a week. We had a great week. Hit subscribe. Share the podcast. Listen to the Wasted Talent podcast. Let's go. Let's have a great weekend. Have a bucket of Modelo's like I'm going to have in about 13 minutes. Appreciate everyone. Thank you.